What's up, everyone? Aaron Egler here with Cheesehead TV, coming to you live on Thursday afternoon. The Packers have wrapped up their second practice of the week, the fully padded one. Been practicing outside. Matt LaFleur getting the guys out in the elements. I love it, embracing it, saying you got to play in it, might as well practice in it. A little different than Mike McCarthy, but the only injury of note, Adrian Amos. Not participating, and Mercedes Lewis did not participate after not being on the injury report yesterday, so we'll see what's up there. Hello to everybody in the comments. Finally, I'm able to watch this live again. Julia, welcome back. Weekly Peak video was a good watch. Thanks, Dustin. Obviously, the bells and whistles, the production value, etc., will improve as we go along, but for now, just wanted to get it up and out for you guys. CMC playing Ismail. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't. I know he's been limited on the injury reports, but I think he'll make it through. The perfect excuse to not start homework. Ryan, I'm always happy to be corrupting the youth. Thanks for joining us. How does Green Bay attack Carolina's D? I want to see a whole lot more of the two-back set, the stuff with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. I think a really good way, obviously, first and foremost, is to get that running game going. I thought they were going to against the Chargers, and I think they would have if they hadn't shot themselves in the foot with penalties so often. But I do think some of the misdirection stuff we've seen this year, Ben Fennell highlighted what he calls the pony backfield with both backs back there, but the screen game off of the action where they send one guy out, I think that could be really effective against Luke Kuechly, trying to get him matched up with a guy who's maybe a decoy and or gets him taking some false steps at least prior to going to the other back. I think that will be somewhat part of the game plan on Sunday afternoon. Can Rodgers gape their defense and stretch the field this weekend? I mean, I think there'll be opportunities much more so than there were against the Chargers, but still, I think the running game is the number one way to get where they want to go on Sunday. I just don't love the idea of Rodgers dropping back, say, 40 times, but if that's what it calls for, hopefully they can get a lead this time and continue to run the football. So out of the 1,000 yards CMC gets, how many do you think are going to be rushing? 572. I mean, yeah, McCaffrey, he's no joke, man. Get Danny Vitale involved, says Anthony, in all caps, in this offense and make fullbacks great again. Couldn't agree more. I think Vitale is severely underutilized for how much talent we saw on display this summer. All I want for Christmas is Rashawn Gary to get more snaps. Dan, I'll have to talk to Santa about that one. Let's see. Does Tony Brown need to tone down the extracurriculars a bit? Harness it? Well, he just needs to be smart. I don't mind if he's jawing. I don't mind if he's in guys' faces and all that. But the stupid penalties. I mean, that one on the field goal was a killer, absolute killer. Pretty much cemented the game when it got them down and allowed them to, an easier attempt on fourth down, and they decided to go for it and put the dagger in with the touchdown. You hold them to a field goal there, you've got a chance. But yeah, just dumb penalties. Can't have them. And I think one more, and I think he's probably done. Just wanted to say, appreciate the discussion you and Corey had about Zadarius Smith incident yesterday on transplants. Second, what does Carolina's Allen do well and not so well? Ryan, thank you very much for that sentiment. As far as Allen goes, I think, he's like any young quarterback. When he's got a clearly delineated read and he's able to hit the top of his drop and let it rip, he's been fine. I think where you've seen him struggle a bit, and I think he was better earlier in the season, where you've seen him struggle now down the stretches, teams have really forced him away from his initial read. They've done a good job of covering things up. The Packers have not done well in that regard, no matter who's at quarterback, as far as being able to make guys second guess themselves, take away that initial read, have them try and pull it down, maybe hit a check down, etc. They just haven't been doing a whole lot of that. So hopefully we see some sticky coverage from guys like Alexander and King and just make him second guess himself. The other thing I would think Pettin has to do is start creating some illusion, some complexity up front, because like you guys have been listening to me all week, way too much staticness prior to the snap of the football. Put some doubt in the quarterback's mind. especially a young quarterback like Allen. The Smith brothers need to be in Allen's kitchen all day. I agree with that. Should we use hashtag CheeseheadTV's new NFL pick segment as betting advice? Tyler, I think that's a terrible idea. By the way, everybody, say hi to Tyler. Tyler Herrick here is in our comments. He's he's our new social guy here at Cheesehead TV. So you'll see an uptick in activity when it comes to the social side of things. What's your favorite bar in Appleton? Oh, Michael, it's Jim's place. No question. And I know there's a lot of bars that have come and gone throughout the years. I used to go to Houdini's back in the day, but that was my spot. That was my jam, but that's no longer there. The filling station back in the day, that was a great time. That is something else. I think is that Chadwick's? No, that's now it's not even Chadwick's anymore. It's something else. But Jim's, tried and true, been there forever. That's my jam. Do your eyes tell you Tay wasn't 100%? No, not really. I think my eyes told me he looked a little rusty. No, he looked explosive and he looked good. I'm a little confused. Can Raven Green still come back from IR? Josh, yes, he can. I know the confusion has stemmed from the fact that they brought Jay Sternberger back, so that was their first IR designated to return. And now that they've brought back Ibrahim Campbell, people have assumed that that's their second, but Ibrahim Campbell was on PUP, not IR. So they've brought back Ibrahim Campbell. They still have one more designated to return selection that they can make off of injured reserve. I know it's a little convoluted, but they still have one chance / call up, if you will, allotted to them. And Raven Green could be that guy. The problem is we don't know how injured he is. We don't know the severity of the injury. They're never going to be forthcoming with that information. So he could be, unable to even practice until, say, next spring, for all we know. Or maybe he's, killing it in rehab. Maybe it's not that bad. And then they are able to bring him back later this year. He's got to sit out 8 weeks minimum. And after that, we'll see. Was watching a presser with LaFleur. He didn't acknowledge the partying in LA by Packers players, but he didn't necessarily deny it either. Any insight into the claims they went out before the game? Yeah, I got the insight. They didn't go out before the game. There's your insight. But he doesn't have to deny it. I mean, okay, first of all, Friday night in LA, if they went out, they went out. But like he said, no one missed curfew. So everyone followed the rules. Outside of that, I don't care. I mean, I understand they didn't show up on Sunday and they weren't sharp. And whatever they have to do to rectify that situation, they're going to do. But this whole idea of all of a sudden we got a bunch of people trying to do bed check on the Green Bay Packers, a bunch of grown men who are professionals, count me out. But I do know that no one missed curfew and no one went crazy and there was no huge throwdown party. Because I've talked to a bunch of people on the team, a bunch of people I trust, both players and in the building. None of that happened. The internet's just having way too much fun pouring gasoline on that fire. That's all that is. I have a good feeling about this game because I trust the team's bounce back ability. The embarrassment of their last performance will light a fire that Carolina can't handle. Let's fuck them up. Robin, I don't know if it'll be a fire that Carolina can't handle. I expect this to be a good, hard-fought game, and I actually think I did pick the Packers to win it, but I think it's going to be a close one. I think this is one they win by 3 or so. Let's see. They didn't even get on the plane. Well, they got on the plane. They just didn't get off the bus. How's that? The offensive line was the only problem, really. Yeah, I mean, they were the major culprit. And not just because of their blocking or lack thereof, but because of the false start penalties. Then you throw in the delay of game with Rodgers, and that was it. That was the entire first half blown up because they kept getting, in those long down and distances, and then they couldn't block them up front. So you're saying there aren't any Max McGee's on this team? You are correct. Let's see. Are you watching in the stadium on Sunday? Yes, I'll be in the press box. The Chargers game was a waste of Tony Romo. Yeah, I kind of agree. Aside from Jair, what's your grade on the 2018 draft? Incomplete. Way too early to start judging drafts. Give me 3 years. CMC seems like lightning in a bottle on the field. How do they best contain him? I think a lot of eyes towards the backfield. I know Pettin loves his man coverage. They've played more zone this year than I would have expected, even with that, you know, career-long tendency. But I think they got, and they're not a great zone team, but I think eyes in the backfield are a must. Eyes towards the quarterback / running back are a must. Um, it's going to be hard, but they got to keep this guy in front of them and in their sights, and they've got to come in under control. The last, worst thing you can do is come in out of control with this guy. He slips you, and leaves you in the dust, and then he's off to the races. Can't have it. Got to have some really sound tackling, eyes to the backfield, rally and tackle. And now, obviously, that's real easy for me to say. Much harder to do. If Bulaga keeps moving in the wrong direction like we have sort of seen lately, I really hope that's not the case. Does Light get in there and get some snaps? Seems like LaFleur wants competition. I doubt it. I mean, you look at Bulaga, for the most part, that he was lights out for those first, the first half of the season, essentially, right until the Kansas City game. And even in the games where he struggled a bit, he still got really, really high-level reps. So, I love Light. I love what he did stepping in Kansas City, but yeah, he's nowhere near that level yet. Holy super chats, Batman, out of nowhere. Michael, thank you for the super chat. I was drunk guy who hugged you leaving the stadium after the Lions game. Thanks for entertaining my excitement, Michael. It was lovely to meet you. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the hug. Go Pack Go. Merc 1987, thank you for the super chat. Just arrived from your pick'ems for week 10. Love the rapid fire delivery. What did you think of Rodgers' comment on touches for Jones and Williams? I noticed that. First of all, thanks for watching the picks video. And I did note it was interesting that he put a target number. That's got to be something they've talked about in offensive meetings. And I believe it was, and you can correct me because I'm going off memory. I just watched it a little bit ago. He said something around 15, 20 touches for Jones, 10 to 12 touches, 10 to 15 touches for Williams. I mean, that tells you they want to get those guys involved. That's a good catch, though. I'm interested to see if that comes to fruition on Sunday. Uncultured Barbarian, thank you for the super chat. If you see Wayne and Larry this weekend, say hi to them from the Cheesehead TV fans, best guys in the business. Uncultured, I most certainly will. I have to tell you, the nicest guy in the press box is Rock. Larry McCarron is the nicest human being I have ever met on the beat. He came up to me my first day in Green Bay to tell me how much he enjoyed what I do, which pretty much sent me to the moon because I was beyond cloud nine that he even knew who I was. But every single time I'm in Green Bay, every single time I'm at practice, in the press box, anywhere around the Packers, he always goes out of his way to say hello. And we always have a great conversation. Nicest guy on earth. And I love Wayne. Wayne's wonderful. Wayne's the man. But Rock is unbelievably cool. Really cool guy. And I will, Uncultured, I will say hello to him. Zach, thank you for the super chat. I love this is possibly my favorite question ever. You like Spotted Cow? I love Spotted Cow. Banky complains because when I go to his place, he has this huge beer fridge. I mean, it's a monster beer fridge. And he's got 100 different beers in it. And all I ever do is drink them out of Spotted Cow. I'm in Wisconsin. I can't get it here in New York. All those other beers I can get, can't get Spotted Cow. So, yeah, I love me some Spotted Cow. It's good stuff. Let me see. If I want to buy tickets for Sunday, where do I go? Seth, you should check out Ticket King. They're physically located across from Lambeau Field, but if you're not in Green Bay, head to cheeseheadtv.com. You'll find a link pretty much on every page to Ticket King. They've been around since 1992. They have every Packers game, tickets for every single game, whether home, away, the playoffs if they're lucky enough to get there. Ticket King at cheeseheadtv.com. Check them out. Matt, thank you for the super chat. Jamal could set a Packers record Sunday with consecutive receiving TD games. Is that the case? I haven't read my dope sheet yet, but that's pretty cool. That'd be amazing. I mean, that's pretty interesting, especially in light of the fact that my guess would be, does Edgar Bennett hold that record? That'd be crazy if he said it, if he broke it. Stop planting that question to mask your ad. No, Jesse, people ask that because they are part of the community and they want to prompt me to remind me to talk about our sponsors. Nothing wrong with that. See, it's much more organic this way. I don't plant anything and I don't do a read. I just have someone ask every time. That's what our community is about. We're all helping each other, man. Get on board. Can you describe who your, quote, people in the building are? No. Because if I described them and I told you, they wouldn't talk to me anymore. We also remind people to like this video. Yes, Julia, thank you. Like the video, share, subscribe. If I ever make it to Lambeau, I want to have beers with Nagler. Well, come out to lot 1. I'm in lot 1 a lot. Jake, thank you for the super chat. Who do we match up on McCaffrey in the passing game? Blake is a no for me. Maybe Campbell or Burks, you think? I would. Burks makes a lot of sense in some situations. It can't be just one guy, though, because Norv Turner will absolutely go to town if he realizes that they're matching up a singular guy. It's always going to be a combination. I think Darnell Savage makes some sense, but it can't just be one guy. I do like the idea of Campbell coming down into the box and helping out. I think McCaffrey will make anyone on this defense look silly in a one-on-one situation in the open field, though. That's why I keep saying you've got to have eyes, got to play zone, eyes in the backfield, and rally. Got to rally numbers to the ball carrier. And again, I know it's easy for me to say. Coaches are going to be preaching it all week. He's one of the best in the league for a reason, because he's really, really tough in that regard. Do you think Clark can continue to play as many snaps as he has all year? I mean, I hope not. I mean, can he? Yes. Will they continue to ask him to do so? I hope not. I hope they start mixing in Adams a little bit more, get Kiki more involved, and give Clark just a bit of a rest. I'm not even saying taking him off the field a ton, but just he's playing too much, especially considering that he's back on the injury report with a shin injury. Guy keeps getting nicked up, banged up. Just give him a little bit of rest. Joe, thank you for the super chat. Just to thank you for all you do. You're me and my dad's favorite go-to for the Packers. He used to get clickbaited by Packers 24/7 Sports. No more thanks to you. Have a beer on me. Happy holidays. Joe, thank you so much, and happy holidays. Right back at you, brother. They're going to wear out Kenny Clark at this pace. Yes, uncultured. I totes agree. I hear they pushed back the game to 4:25. Nice and cold then, real football time. Gary, I love the 4:25 Eastern start times. I was just talking to someone here at work. They're the best because you get that nice long lead up, run up prior to the game, but then it's not too late when you get done like a primetime game. It's like perfect. Let's see what else we got. One or two more. What kind of impact will Campbell have on Sunday? Robert, that's a really good question. I am interested to see how much they utilize him. I can't imagine they throw him out there in the majority of their packages, but he has been practicing for the last 3 weeks prior to being activated. So maybe they do. Maybe he's out there for all the snaps. Who knows? Maybe they go to that 3 safety look that Pettine loves, and he takes over for the Raven Green role. Whereas the last month they've really rotated in that regard. Maybe they let him just run with it. It's a big question mark as far as how effective he can be coming back from that ACL injury. Those 3 games he played in last year after they got him off waivers from the Jets, he was by far the best tackling member of the secondary, if not the entire defense. It was just sucked that he got hurt. If he can pick up where he left off, he could make a noticeable difference right away. But that is a huge question mark. We've seen guys go on good runs, get injured, and then come back and are never the same. Geronimo Allison seems to be going down that path. Geronimo was off to a really good start last year, got hurt, is now back, and just has not been able to regain that form. So hopefully Campbell hits the ground running and really shores things up on that back end where they sorely need it. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to jump. I'm going to be on the radio in a little bit, the bottom of the hour, with Drew and KB at 97.3, The Game in Milwaukee. Check that out. If you're not in the area, of course, you can download the iHeartRadio app, find it there in the app, and I'll be live on the radio in Milwaukee. If you like what we do, please consider contributing to our Patreon, patreon.com/cheeseheadtv. $5 a month is all we ask. It supports everything we do. And hey, you don't want to give up money. I understand times are tight, whatever. Please, the easiest, best thing you can do is hit subscribe, hit like, tell people about Cheesehead TV on YouTube. Spread the word. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great night.